In this video, we are forecasting a line of severe thunderstorms that will affect the Northeast today. Right after that, we're talking about a significant severe weather outbreak in the South coming later this week. And then we have to take a look at yet another big-time severe weather maker that will be causing multiple problems next week. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Usually on Wednesdays, I do our members-only live stream, but I won't be able to do that today. Therefore, I'm going to have to postpone that until tomorrow. But yes, tomorrow around 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing a members-only live stream right here on the channel. We just kind of hang out and talk about the weather. We're going to be talking a lot about the upcoming severe weather setups. We're going to do some in-depth analysis, and I'll be able to answer everybody's questions because, you know, we only have like 300 members, so the chat doesn't get overwhelming, you know? If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you become a member today. There's a link in the description, or you can hit the join button right next to the subscribe button if you're on a PC. And without further ado, let me do the weather for you. Right, here's a big old look at the United States of America. And as you can see, we got a little bit going on out there. Over here in Nevada and Utah, we've got a general risk of some regular thunderstorms today. Look out for some isolated thunder, lightning, heavy rain, you know, all that good stuff, especially here in central Nevada and south of the Salt Lake City area in Utah. A couple of those rain showers might be on the stronger side where they're considered thunderstorms. Nothing crazy going on out here. We've got another general area right here from Chicago all the way down to Cincinnati of thunderstorms. And the interesting thing about these today is some of these thunderstorms that pop up will be rain showers, and some of them will have embedded snow squalls in there. It's going to be a really interesting setup today to see once again, some pop-up showers and maybe even some thunderstorms in a very cold air mass. So some people may see thunder snow today in this region. More than likely though, if the precipitation is really heavy, it's going to be rain because those temperatures are going to be right around freezing, but it'll still be interesting to watch anyways. We're going to have snow squalls and scattered rain showers today, and a couple of those might have a couple lightning strikes with them. Over here on the East Coast, the Storm Prediction Center has actually put out a slight risk for severe weather today. This is mostly a wind-driven slight risk because we do think as our snowstorm approaches over here, we're going to have a squall line of severe thunderstorms form, and we might actually have some problems with damaging winds from western Massachusetts all the way down through Connecticut, Long Island, much of New Jersey, and then way all the way down into Virginia Beach. So definitely be weather aware today if you live on the East Coast. Some of these storms are going to be on the gnarly side, so let's actually take a closer look at them on the weather models. All right, here's the HRRR model, the high resolution rapid refresh model. We're going to use this today as sort of a simulated radar, okay? This is what the radar could look like as we go further on into the afternoon and evening hours. We're starting off around 11 a.m. today. You can always keep up with the date and time above my head up there. And as you can see today around 11 a.m., the radar is going to look pretty similar to what it does right now. We're going to have some heavier snow showers up here in upstate New York and western New York and southeastern Ontario and southern Quebec. We're going to have some really heavy snow showers up here in northern Vermont and New Hampshire. We've got some really warm air out in front of it. And on the front side here, we're just going to see storms start to pop up. And then eventually back here, we're going to see a congealed line of storms pop up and then move to the east like this. So let's put this into motion, and you can see what I'm talking about really well there. Around 1 p.m. today, we've got these storms really starting to light up here in southern Vermont and New Hampshire. We've got them coming up now in Connecticut, and we've got our organized squall line forming now in eastern Pennsylvania, okay? Philadelphia, you're going to be right in that area where the squall line first starts to fire up. So the storms don't look like they're going to be as strong for Philadelphia as they will be for further into New Jersey and New York City, but you will still see that lightning, maybe hear a few rumbles of thunder today. But the bigger threat for severe weather is to your east, okay? Look at this. As we go into 2 o'clock, we've got that squall line really starting to come together, and we do have some isolated storms out in front of the squall line, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center actually has a 2% chance of tornadoes today up here, mostly north of Long Island, which is pretty interesting. We've got a low-level jet stream through here that is supportive of some, maybe some rotation, but it would be a pretty rare event for this kind of setup to actually see a tornado out here. That's definitely not the main threat today. The main threat's going to be straight line damaging winds associated with this line right here. Okay, so let's keep going forward. 3 p.m. Right around 3 p.m., that's when it's going to be moving into the New York City metro area. Also, this is when it's going to be breaching into Massachusetts and Connecticut. And then also, we've got more storms forming all the way to the south here, okay? Southern New Jersey, the Delmarva Peninsula, Delaware itself. We've got big storms popping up down here. Once again, hail, damaging winds possibility here. And then let's keep pushing this all the way out. By the time we get to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m., these are really going to weaken fast, okay? The strongest point of these storms is going to be right here from 3 p.m. to like 4 p.m. as they're going across New York City and then maybe into like the Bridgeport, Connecticut area. That's when we're going to see all of our severe thunderstorm warnings and stuff, and they're going to weaken significantly as they move off to the east. Boston, I don't think that you've got too much to worry about today. You will see some gusty winds. You'll see a thunderstorm, but I don't think it'll be severe. Same thing up here for southeastern Maine. This is just going to be a really windy, gusty thunderstorm that moves through. And then after all that goes through, we're left with some cold air and maybe some snow squalls moving through in the Philadelphia region and the Albany region. All right, we have a triple threat storm system moving in, so we have more severe storm systems to talk about. The next one that we're going to talk about is going to occur on Friday here in Texas and Oklahoma. And now we're looking at the NAM 12-kilometer model, okay? The resolution here isn't as good as the HRRR, so our simulated radar won't look as impressive, but we're really just using this to see where these storms are going to pop up and where they're going to be the most intense, okay? So we're skipping ahead here to Friday morning at 2 a.m. This is where our next area of interest is going to be. You can see pretty clearly here around noon to 2 p.m. we've got storms firing up here in Oklahoma and Texas, okay? Once again, our little simulated radar here doesn't look very impressive, but you know, it's a more longer range model, and this is 60 hours away, so we can't expect too much. But what we can do here is we can dissect the atmosphere and see how severe these storms are going to be. Once again, we're going to see storms popping up here around the Dallas area, in eastern Oklahoma, southeastern Texas around 2 p.m. on Friday. And what are they going to be working with? How are they going to form, and how intense will they be based on those ingredients? First of all, here's a look at the surface convective energy, okay? So right when those storms first start to fire up, we are looking at, convective energy values around 2,000 joules per kilogram, which is good. But as the day goes on, we are actually going to see those values increase. And here we are late in the evening on Friday around 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central. And then right in through here, we've got Cape values approaching 4,000 joules per kilogram, okay? Explosive energy down here in Texas. And depending on how much convection we get out in front, and we saw some of that pop up there on the simulated radar, whenever this right here sets up and we have an opportunity for lift, might be talking about a nocturnal tornado threat here in the southern part of the United States. And check this out, there's definitely going to be a reason for that warm air to be lifted into the atmosphere. This is what we call a dry line. I'm looking at the dew points right now. We've got really warm, moist air out in front here. We call that the warm sector. And then that low pressure system is going to be bringing in some cooler, drier air behind it. When this cool air runs into that warm air on the surface, right? Because cool air sinks. It's going to come in there and it's going to ram that warm air and that moist air up into the atmosphere, cause big updrafts. That's when we're going to see our strongest storms. Once again, unfortunately, this is going to happen in the evening. We're going to see some strong storms earlier in the day, but as of right now, it looks like the main threat's going to be in the evening when this dry line moves in and really takes advantage of those high convective energy values. And that lower level jet stream is going to be screaming at around 40 or 50 knots over here. But look, it's a little bit to the east of where all the convection and all the action's going, okay? Which is kind of a good thing. That means that, all the ingredients are not perfect for a tornado outbreak here in eastern Texas. However, we're still a little bit far out. This can change. And on the western fringe of this low-level jet stream, if any supercells pop out in front of, that dry line, we could be talking about a tornadic supercell there. So we got to watch that closely. Now, here is the concerning part. This is a multi-day severe weather event, and this is going to move off to the east, just like all weather does. Let's zoom in here on the deep south. We've got Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia and Tennessee in view here. And let's see what that low-level jet stream does as it approaches the deep south. And it does exactly what you wouldn't want it to do. As you can see, we've got that low-level jet stream around 70, maybe even close to 80 knots there in some places, which just tells me that if there's any storms that are going to be here, they will be rotating. There's going to be turning with height. So first thing, let's look at that simulated radar. Let's see what's going on here. And then right around the time those jet stream winds are at their peak, that is when this convection line of storms is going to be moving through. So that's, once again, pretty unfortunate. As of right now, though, once again, again, this is a low resolution model. We'll have plenty of time to refine tune this forecast. It does look like this is going to be happening in the early morning hours, and it looks like there's going to be a big old area of rain and just general thunderstorms out ahead of the main severe weather event, which means that we could be talking about a greatly subdued threat for tornadoes, despite having that crazy jet stream. It's too early to say for sure exactly what's going to happen here, but right now, once again, thankfully, it doesn't look like the perfect storm like we saw in March multiple times, where everything was just perfect for tornadoes. Here, we have a couple different ways where there's a fail mode, a way for tornadoes to not happen at all. So we're going to continue to hope for that, and we're going to continue to watch this closely, and I will let you know, especially as we get closer to the storm, exactly what we think is going to happen. And then this storm system moves out of here, and it'll be out of Alabama and Mississippi, and it looks like Georgia won't be affected too much by it right now. And yeah, finally, once we get to Saturday, April 24th, we're done talking about severe weather. For now. All right, now we're going to go even further into the future, and we're going to have to look at the Euro model here, and we're going to talk about yet another significant severe weather possibility, and this one looks the most concerning to me. Here's the one we just talked about. We got a low pressure system moving through, bringing some big storms to Mississippi, Alabama, and the day before that, obviously, Oklahoma and Texas. That skedaddles right out of here, and we might have another area of severe weather concern over in the Carolinas after that. But the model data is a little bit iffy about that. Some say yes, some say no. So we'll talk more about that once we get closer to it. But now, something that the models are definitely not disagreeing about is the prospect of another significant severe weather outbreak on April 27th and 28th. And this one looks the most concerning, okay? The title of this video is Triple Threat. So we got the storms today, we got the storms coming later this week, and then we've got this storm system. We're still, 160 hours away from this storm. A lot of things can change, but this one has consistently looked the most concerning. Now here on April 27th, you can see when these storms really start to first fire up, there's gonna be a lot of warm air out here, there's gonna be a lot of instability, and these storms are gonna be strong. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already put out a 15% risk for day 7, just for these storms right here, the initialization of this storm system. And that's kind of rare, okay? Day 7, 15%, are you kidding me? But me personally, I actually think the greater risk, the area of most interest is gonna be a little bit off to the east here as this actually starts to slide off to the north and east, accesses even, a richer atmosphere over here. Obviously, the timing's a little weird right now. That'll change as we go forward. But on Wednesday, April 28th, I do think we have to watch that especially hard for, like I said, maybe a tornado outbreak. I don't like throwing that term around a lot, and maybe tomorrow the models will change and I will, I'll take that back. This right here definitely looks very sus, to say the least. It looks very suspicious as far as storm systems go. Honestly, other than those systems that we saw back in March down in the deep south, I haven't seen anything this impressive in a while. Usually though, if you see the perfect storm system a week out, the only thing that can happen is it can downtrend and, go away. So hopefully that's what happens. As of right now, it does look pretty concerning. The dew points are going to be hot and juicy, and there's going to be a dry line situation moving through. Cape values are going to be near 3,000 and 4,000 during the initialization of these storms. And quite possibly the scariest part is that lower level jet stream. Now, obviously, we've seen higher values this year. We've seen a jet stream that's been screaming at around 80 or 90 knots. But this right here is a broad area, a really strong low level jet stream over 50 knots. And that just increases the probabilities of storms interacting with that and spinning and causing tornadoes. So I'm not sounding the alarm just yet. I'm just helping you guys be prepared, okay? If you live in this area, severe weather season is knocking on our door, okay? And even if this storm system doesn't turn into a tornado outbreak, as we go on into May, eventually this area is going to have some big severe weather outbreak that we need to be prepared for. So the reason I'm using the wording that I'm using and stuff like that is just to make sure that you're prepared. We just saw snow, okay? We've had a pretty quiet spring so far in this area, but it's time to wake up. It's time to snap back into reality. We've got big storms on the way. Make sure you have a couple different ways to get warnings, all right? NOAA Weather Radio, I've got a link in my description, and you can get those alerts on your phone, okay? The Amber Alert system, because once again, it looks like a lot of these threats are going to be nocturnal. They're going to be happening at night, and if you have 2 ways of getting warnings, you can sleep soundly knowing that if something bad's happening, you'll be woken up. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, slap a like on it, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn those notifications on. I'm going to have a lot more info on these upcoming storms tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned for that. And yeah, that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.